A guy followed my buddy around the store to tell him to give up the store's mobility scooter for his mother. I just read a story about somebody dealing with an ep trying to steal their wheelchair, and it reminded me of this story from my best friend. So back in the early 2010s, my best friend, we'll call him Jim, and his family were moving across the state for his dad's work. Now, Jim has a disability that makes him wheelchair bound. At first glance, he looks like he should be healthy, but in reality, it is quite the opposite. This is important for later. They had sent their stuff ahead in a truck, but still had a bunch in their van, and Jim's wheelchair had stuff stacked on top of it, the seat was folded, and the chair was fine. While they were traveling, they decided to stop at a grocery store to grab some supplies for the new place, as they were moving someplace rural, and there were no affordable grocery stores at their destination. At the time, Jim could walk, albeit very slowly and with help, but at the risk of falling and getting seriously hurt, as he couldn't catch himself, and was over 6 feet tall. So, when they got to the store, Jim was helped out of the van so he could go inside and cool off, as they were driving through the desert in late August early September. His folks helped him inside and to one of the available mobility scooters, seeing as his chair was buried. So, off went Jim in this scooter that had the approximate speed of an inebriated snail. He was starting to cruise around the store, when he was spotted by a middle-aged gentleman, the ep of this tale, who was walking with his elderly mother. She was obviously having some trouble walking, but it just so happened that Jim was in possession of the last functioning scooter, so she wasn't able to use it. Well, seeing Jim in the last functioning scooter, and assuming he was just some teenage kid goofing off, he told Jim to get off and let his mother use the scooter. Now, Jim was used to this kind of interaction, so he calmly explained that no, he wasn't just goofing off in a scooter, he actually needed it to get around. Well, Ep then ranted about how Jim was younger, and EP's mom was in awful pain, so Jim should be respectful of his elders. Jim, naturally, disagreed. He again explained his disability and drove away. Though not very common, this sort of interaction was not his first, but everyone before had been very understanding of the situation. Not so with Ep. As Jim perused the wares of the grocery store, Ep followed him around, almost shouting at him about how disrespectful he was, and he didn't think anything was wrong with Jim, while leaving his mother at the front door. Fun fact about Jim, I have very rarely ever seen him get genuinely angry. I've seen him get upset at a video game, or about the state of the U.S. healthcare system. That's another whole can of worms, but he has a very unique ability to let stupid people and their antics roll off of his back like a duck with water. So Jim did what he does best, and blocked him out. He had practice, being the oldest child. Well, Ep capped up his antics, and Jim just pretended he didn't exist. Eventually, Jim found his parents as they were checking out. They had left him to his own devices, as he liked to be as independent as possible, and Ep ran back to his mom after seeing Jim's dad, who is not a small person. Jim and his family, just wanting to be done with their travels, bought their supplies and got out of Dodge. Every time Jim thinks of that story he says, "You know what the worst part was? He followed me and harassed me, rather than take care of his mom, who looked like she was in awful pain. If I could, I probably would have slugged him just for that. Your friend is amazing because I would have punched that man in the face for ignoring his mother to chase me down. Not all disabilities are visible and that man should be ashamed of his actions. I was 8 months pregnant and technically on bed rest. There were no scooters available so I walked. My boss saw me and knew I was on bed rest and started yelling at me, lol she was like a mom to me, and was worried so I wasn't mad, that I should have called her to pick what I needed up. I was explaining I didn't want to be a burden to anyone. This lady and her husband were watching me get scolded for walking when I was on strict bed rest and then walked away. Roughly 5 minutes later and I hear beeping. The lady was beeping at people to move as she brought me a scooter. The lady was ID say 50-60s and she's telling people to move out the way. Pregnant mama needs a scooter. I tried telling her I was fine, but her and her husband told me to sit my butt in the scooter and not to argue with my elders. They even helped me reach things I would have to stand to get. I wanted to cry because I felt like I didn't need the scooter. I raised it was for the elderly and disabled, but they were so kind. They even apologized for the scooter being wet. They had to go find one outside in the rain. I thanked them as I left and never forgot them or their kindness. To this day, if I see a scooter in the parking lot not being used, I roll it up to the front and plug it in. Or if I see someone in need, I go and search for one. It's my way of paying their kindness forward and helping people. I do too. There are days myself or one of my kids might need one. The chairs I use always go back in, and any I see outside go back in. I like it when it's there when I need it. So I want it to be there when others need it. I used to alert the staff when I saw an abandoned scooter I thought needed to be inside charging for the next user. Finally, a store employee told me the handicapped spaces in the parking lot were where folks needed the scooters to be waiting for them. How could I be so dumb? Now, how come there aren't outlets out there to be charging in between uses? That's a lovely way to pay it forward. Congratulations on your little one. I did this the other day. It was past the cart corral and blocking a parking space. I felt so stupid as I didn't need it. I did actually need to use one once as I had a sprained knee enough that it hurt to stand. My husband doesn't drive and it didn't occur to me to ask my parents for help as it was only a few things. I did ride the cart back inside and limp out to my car. Jim is right. Instead of helping him mom or getting home faster, the has to follow a guy around the store yelling at him. What a loser. Tell Jim next time go to the canned goods aisle and start chucking cans. Might knock some sense into Ep. Mobility carts are a courtesy, not a guarantee. They are first come first served. It is irresponsible of Ep to bring his mother to the store without assuring her needs can be met. I had a woman get out of a taxi at the grocery store and walk in. I was plugging carts in as people use them, and then leave them uncharged. Now why was she in a taxi? She was a drunk and couldn't drive. So she sees me and tells me she wants one. I say they aren't charged due to other customers not plugging them in. She starts ranting that is a violation of ADA not to have them available. Now I am a rules girl. So I said, no ma'am, not true. These are a courtesy, not a requirement. And if your doctor thought you needed one, you wouldn't order for one? And that we aren't required to even have them available, let alone have them in working order. She stomped off, walking perfectly. The procedure for shopping with one's elderly mother. 1. Pull up and park right in front of the door. 2. Find a scooter and drive it to the car, then load up elderly mother. 3. Send elderly mother scooting inside, and find a parking space. 4. If you cannot find a scooter, park elderly mother in the car with HVAC running and doors locked. 5. If by any chance you get inside with elderly mother and have no scooter, find a chair by the pharmacy, or a bench or ledge near the front, for her to sit on. Seasonal displays of lawn furniture are also good. 6. Not, under any circumstances, mug anyone. Print out to distribute to aspiring scooter muggers. Lady tried to take my Bath and Body Works coupon. I ran into this store during lunch because I thought it wouldn't be very busy. I was wrong. They mailed me a 20% off my entire purchase coupon, so I was going to buy a few of those scent pod things. Anyways, I have the coupon sticking out of the front pocket of my purse. Not super far. It was tucked in safely in the front pocket. I don't know why anyone would notice it there. I never look at other people that closely anyhow when I'm out shopping. I kinda just keep my eye on the prize, so to speak, not looking around at other people's purses, that's for sure. So I'm looking at the scent pods, smelling some, staying in my lane, and someone taps my shoulder. I turn around and this lady asks, "Are you going to use that coupon?" I'm really taken aback. Because I'm literally in the store that the coupon is for. If I'm shopping in the store with a coupon, I'm probably going to use it. So, even though I'm usually polite, I'm shocked enough by being interrupted by such a brazen question that I'm like, yes, that's why I'm here. She says, oh, the 20% off coupon? Me? Yes. I try to turn back around. She taps me again. Well, do you think they'll let us both use it? Me? Well, I don't think so. At this point she changes her tone and gets rude with me. Well, how do you know? Have you asked before? Now I am not the most assertive person, so I was like, well, I could ask when I go up to the register. This lady holds her hand out and says, well, you can let me try it first and then I'll ask them. And I'm just standing there staring at her. Like, WTF? The audacity. And does she think I'm dumb? Like, sure. You use the coupon first on your stuff. Then ask if I can use it when they'll inevitably say no, and I'll be the one to be out of luck. SMH. So I finally just say, no, sorry, I'll ask when I go up. And then just turn around and walk a few steps away. I tuck the coupon in deeper into my pocket because at this point she was bold and worried she'll just grab it. She watches me for a while, but I just keep looking at other things, trying to avoid eye contact. When I do go up to pay, the cashier just takes the coupon away and puts it in their register. I didn't even ask if I could use it again because I didn't want to be that person. Then I just quickly walked out of the store, eyes forward so I wouldn't have to see this woman again, haha. This happened a few weeks ago, but I just found this subreddit today and it reminded me of it. I still can't believe people like that. And the thing is, she was already at the store with stuff in her bag. She was already planning to buy things. Nothing in that store is necessary, lol. She just spied my coupon and was like, I could get this stuff cheaper. Psst. That person was an entitled jerk. You didn't owe her anything. Yes, entitled jerk. I had a situation similar when Black Friday was a thing you did in a store and not online. Went to Sears to get 2 screwdriver sets, one for me and one for my dad for Christmas. Threw them in the top of my shopping cart in the baby seat part, and me and the wife went about shopping in the rest of the store. Of course, after about 15 minutes, the pallet of screwdrivers we all gone. Kept noticing the lady following us. Told the wife something is up. Get ready to scream like bloody murder if required. So she heads off a bit from me and I'm looking at clothes and notice out of the corner of my eyes the lady is heading towards the cart. As she reaches into my cart, she grabs a hand on one of my screwdriver sets. I immediately grab her wrist and say, you can drop the screwdrivers or visit the ER for a broken wrist. I twist it backwards and she heads to the ground like she praying to Jesus. Good choice, get the F. K away from me. Had to do similar in Target one year. The store went through the line with maps of where things would be around the store, and my buddy and I realized the 2 things we wanted were on opposite ends of the store. We split up. I headed to the grocery area to get us each a GPS while he went and got whatever the other thing was. He came back and put them in the cart. Then, seeing how crazy the checkout lines were, we decided to do some of the weekly grocery shopping and hope the lines died down. About halfway through, caught some rondo digging through the groceries in the cart, trying to get to the GPS units that were underneath them. Fortunately, the only casualties were a smashed bag of potato chips and maybe the rando's pride after not getting our stuff. When people blatantly ignore our societal rules, as far as I'm concerned, that's my green flag. I'd have probs hit her with an, I'm sorry, I don't speak English. I once considered learning but never found the time to achieve any meaningful level of comprehension. Then reply to everything with, nope, not getting it. Might as well be Greek, that. People get so angry. Nope, that was all just gibberish, awfully sorry. I legit tell people this all the time. Sorry, I don't speak English. Can you repeat it slowly? Then I'll reply with, sorry, it's not my first language. Their level of frustration versus my level of happiness is my favorite thing to see. Are you gonna use that coupon? Nope. I just keep it there so people don't wonder why I'm sniffing candles. Here's your sign. Forgive me, Bill and Val. You need to learn sarcasm. The answer to her, in a very sarcastic tone, is, no, I am just taking up my lunch here to look around and pretend I am looking at stuff to waste time, rather than actually eating, which is what I should be doing. However, if hell ever freezes over, I would be more than happy to give you my coupon, which you obviously don't deserve, since you don't already have one. Much nicer than just telling her to F off. And if the cashier takes the coupon away and puts it in her cash drawer, I'll fight for you, I promise. Yeah, right S. Waddia wanna bet the coupon went in that drawer because it wasn't the first time she tried to get some poor sucker to let her try to use their coupon. We did that once. Only once. This man was buying a bath bomb in Lush and there was a buy one get one free promotion. He looked very uncomfortable when the sales assistant tried to upsell him for a second one and we were in line too. We quipped, "Oh well then, you can get ours and we will give you half the price back of your second one?" He turned and said, "You're lucky I'm feeling benevolent today." Then he signaled to the cashier to put ours through as the second. You don't ask. You don't get, but we were kinda joking and he wouldn't take money from us. Good guy. I feel like that's a pretty different scenario. He wasn't going to get a second one. And you weren't trying to take anything from him.